Hello again, friend. Question. When you pray, do you feel like that there's no one listening to you? Or maybe you're a person who used to pray and you stopped doing it because it felt like you were talking to no one. Or maybe you're a person who has never prayed before. Maybe the higher power thing, the God thing just never worked for you for whatever reason that is. Well, I wrote an article today I want to share with you that I came to a point where I had a very tough time last year in October. And I'm a person who does pray. And I found that even though I was praying, those prayers seemed to not be meaningful any longer. So before I jump into the article I'm going to read to you, would you do me a favor? I want to spread this as far as possible with someone who I can maybe help that's maybe looking for help um, from a higher power, and they've tried everything and it just hasn't worked for them. So would you subscribe to the channel and share this, please? All right, let me jump in. The name of the article I'm going to read to you is called The 10-Minute Practice I Came Back to After Everything Fell Apart. Older than any religion, it doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It only asks you to be honest. It was sometime in October. I couldn't tell you exactly. The days had been running together for a while by then, the way they will after the thing that breaks you finally breaks you. And I was sitting on the edge of my bed with the light getting long in the window. I had spent most of the day doing what I had been doing for many days, which was mostly nothing. I had tried to pray for a few hours earlier. The words had stopped meaning anything, and they weren't going to mean anything today either. But I was at the point in the day where you try anyway, the way you try to turn a light switch in a room that has no power, just in case. I had spent many years practicing the kind of thing I was suddenly unable to do, and that didn't help me. If anything, it made it worse. I had a whole vocabulary for what was happening, and the vocabulary was useless. What I did next is what I want to tell you about. It got me off autopilot at the moment I most needed it. And it wasn't what I would have predicted at all. I sat there for a long while, and then I did something so small it almost embarrassed me. I asked myself these two questions. Where had I felt most alive today? Where had I felt least alive today? And that was it. That's all I could manage. And I'm not even sure I planned to ask them. They just came out. The old things will when everything new has stopped working. And the small thing turned out to be enough. It got me through that night and the next one and 30 days after that, and I'm here writing to you because of what happened. So this is for the part of your life you've been meaning to pay attention to and never quite got around to it. It comes from someone who lost almost every practice he had and was given back the one that mattered the most to me. You can actually do it tonight. It's called Examen. So what it actually is. The Examen is a 500-year-old contemplative practice that comes out of the Christian tradition through the roots of a good deal further back than that, great deal further back than that. A man by the name of Ignatius of Loyola gave it the name in the 1500s. He wasn't really inventing anything because the thing underneath the name, a daily honest look back over your own life, turns up in nearly every wisdom tradition we know of, going back about as far as we can see. Strip off the religious history, and what's left is a fairly simple practice. It's a way of paying attention to your own day before the next one shows up. Most of us don't. We get up, we work, we eat, we scroll, we sleep, and we rinse and repeat. And the days quietly stack up unexamined. By the time something inside us finally begins to make noise, it has usually been trying to get our attention for years. The Examen is how you stop. It doesn't require you to believe in God, and it doesn't require you to believe in anything at all. It asks you one thing, which is that you're willing to sit with yourself honestly for 10 minutes. That's what it's asking you to do. That sounds like an easy part, right? But it really isn't. I have to admit that difficulty is more or less the entire practice. So this examine process, it can be framed in a different context than what I'm talking about here. The what gives me the most energy today, what makes me feel the most alive, what makes me feel least alive. You could also substitute that for what am I most grateful for today? What am I least grateful for today? In 12-step programs, there's a practice where we do that, where you'll write out a list of things you're grateful for. The other side of that is to add on to that practice, if you're already doing this, is to what you're least grateful for. And there's a reason for this, and I'll get more into that, what the reason is. All right, so how to do it. Find somewhere that no one will need anything from you for just 10 minutes. The end of the day works best for most people. It can be in the morning as well. You just kind of word it a little bit differently if you do it in the morning. Your bed is fine, the couch is fine, even the bathroom is fine, and depending on the people you live with, it might be even ideal. Put your phone face down, or better yet, put it in the other room. Close your eyes if you want to or don't. Then move through these 5 steps slowly. Let's start. All right, number 1 step, stop. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Don't try to clear your mind, because that's a fight you'll lose. And don't try to manufacture a feeling of peace. Just notice that the day is ending. That's all this step is. You made it to the end of the day one more time, and just simply let it be. So if you're a person who would rather do this in the morning, this is going to be a little bit different for you. So you're going to look at the night before, possibly what you were grateful for from the previous day, if you're on a morning cycle of doing this. So it'll be a little bit different. So frame that way. I do think I've done both. I do a version of the gratitude in the morning. I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for the sunny day. But then at night, I'll do the examen, which is a little bit different frame. So try that either way. But I think I just recommend you try that at night after the end of the day, because you can kind of reflect on what happened, the day's events. Okay, moving on to step 2. Look back over the day. So this is where it would be different for you if you did it in the morning. Walk through your day in your mind, from the moment you woke up to where you are now. Not as a to-do list, more in a way you'd watch a film of your day. The morning, the commute, the conversations, the meal, the slow hour in the afternoon, and the evening. Where you were, who you were with. So where you were, who you were with, what happened. Don't go overboard. Just let the day roll by in your mind. Step 3. Ask where you were most alive. Where did you feel most alive today? This isn't a question about the most pleasant moment or the one you enjoyed the most. It's asking you where you were most present, being where your feet are standing. It might have been a hard moment rather than a happy one, or a very small one. A laugh with a friend, a moment of clarity at work, a sentence you read that struck something in you. A walk where you looked up and saw the sky. Notice it and resist the urge to analyze it. Just sit with it for a minute. Step 4. Ask where you were least alive. Where did you feel least alive today? Here you'll look for the place where you checked out. Maybe you were defensive, maybe numb, or hiding from something, or performing and not being yourself. Maybe lying to yourself or to someone else. It could have been a moment that you should have been alive and somehow you weren't. Try not to turn this into a courtroom. The point isn't to locate a failure in a sentence and sentence yourself for it. The point is only to notice. Most of us couldn't honestly say where we checked out today because we have never paused long enough to even look. Now is the time to change all that. Step 5. End with a single sentence. This is a little bit of an additional thing that I never had considered before I tried this, and it really changed things. It added to the practice and made it much more meaningful. All right, so you're going to say something like, thank you for fill in the blank. Thank you for the sunny day is an idea. It can be a request, help me come back to tomorrow more present than I was today, or a question you don't expect to have an answer to right away. If you don't believe there's anyone on the other side of the sentence, then say it to whatever a higher power is to you or to the universe. So you're saying that to yourself, but you're saying it to a higher power or to the universe. It could be God, it could be what you feel outside yourself that gives you life also. Who you're addressing matters less than saying it out loud. So it's best to say this out loud, but you can say it silently as well. Why it works. Most of us carry our entire lives around with us without stopping to look at them. And that, more than anything else, is the problem the Examen is built to address. It's only 2 questions because it's simplistic, yet it's powerful. If you do this for 30 days, something begins to shift in you. And I say that without exaggeration. The men I've walked with who have stayed with it for more than a month describe patterns they had been blind to for many years, where they come alive and where they shut down, who fills them up and who slowly drains them, what they've been refusing to let themselves feel. You begin to notice things about your own life that you had simply been too busy to see. And noticing is where everything else begins. What it gave me. In the first 2 weeks after Erica died, the Examen was the only spiritual practice I could still do that felt right to me. I couldn't pray for a sustained length of time. Many days I was doing well by just getting out of bed. Some nights the only honest answer to the first question was nothing at all. I came to understand that this is what is so powerful about this type of prayer. And some nights I would catch a single moment, sunlight coming through the window, a friend who had just texted me, where something in me had been alive for just 30 seconds. And I had very nearly missed that opportunity. Noticing the ordinary is how I slowly came back. So seeing the ordinary and what that is, the things that we just pass by because we're living our lives on autopilot. So try it once. You don't need to commit to anything. Just sit down and do it tonight. All 10 minutes. 2 questions and a sentence at the end. Whatever surfaced for you when you read this 3rd step, that small moment that came quietly alive as you read it is already the evidence that this works. So did something pop into mind when I read step 3? Look for tomorrow's the same way. Give it 30 days before you dismiss this idea. This isn't about what you believe or who you believe in or the bad things you did last week. It asks you only for you to sit down and answer the questions honestly, and then it does the rest on its own. And if the answer is nowhere, it's possible you'll do this tonight and find that the honest answer is to where you felt most alive was nowhere. A flat gray day with no moment in it that you can point to. I've had those too, my friend. So I know the particular weight that comes with them. What I had to learn slowly is that a night which comes up empty isn't a failed practice. It's the practice that tells you the truth. And naming the nowhere honestly is in itself the thing that we're after. Because honesty is the entire point of this exercise. You don't have to manufacture a bright spot that wasn't there. You only have to keep showing up to look. And in my experience, the 30 seconds come back. They always have been there. We just haven't noticed them. So next week, I'm going to have an article I'm going to write about silence is the hardest drug to quit. Let me give you a little bit of commentary about this. This practice of Examen is something that when I grew up in my tradition, I viewed it negatively because I felt there was this guilt around it, and I didn't want to face the uncomfortable things about myself back then. This is a total reframe for me. There's a great book that I've read that helped inspire me for this. It's called Sleeping with Bread, and it's a short, small book that talks about these practices, and I hope you'll check it out. Sleeping with Bread. You can find it on Amazon or wherever else you get your books online. So check that out. But I started noticing these things. I was recently on a trip to visit a family member, and my sister was also with me visiting the family member, and we were doing some work on their house. And the togetherness, the camaraderie of that, it was work. I really didn't want to do it, quite frankly. But when I came together, I was doing something for someone else with compassion, helping improve their house, fixing some things they couldn't fix for themselves. And I appreciated that moment. Felt most alive in that moment. How about for you? Is there something maybe you've jumped into and you felt alive, energized, and you couldn't understand why that was because you really didn't think you'd enjoy it, and maybe you kind of didn't, but the effect afterwards was something you really, really helped you come alive? On the other end of the spectrum, what kind of things have you done or observed that you felt least alive in? Was it something that maybe went against who you claim to be? I hate to say it that way, but sometimes we go against who we try to be what we do, right? So I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you. It also helps with the mindset, wherein there's so many benefits to doing this practice. It's short, it's 10 minutes or less, and it will change your life if you give it a try. So give it a try tonight. What and when were you most alive today? And when were you least alive today? Till next time, my friend.